Welcome to Quantum Coffee. I'm Dr. Nicole.
I'm Reverend Stefani.
And today we're going to be talking about when your nervous system thinks that peace is boring. So this is going to be a real fun topic. We've already had a really interesting morning trying to get our shit together to start recording. The pep talk we just had to do was...
Right, because we're both so aligned to chaos.
Yeah. So we had to create chaos in order to start our conversation about chaos.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at today. I hope everybody else is doing great. Anyways, so let's define what that actually means first before you jump in and start your side of it. So when we talk about peace is uncomfortable for us and we choose chaos, like what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about that the nervous system never learned how to feel safe when in still waters.
Okay.
It grew up or experienced a timeline where we had to be on the lookout at all times.
Okay.
And so high alert constantly. And that's actually hardwired into us, if you think about it, because as our primitive beings, primal ancestors, however you want to say that sentence, we are survival of the fittest. We were living life to survive life. But now we're in this age where we're not living life to survive life. We don't have to be in survival mode constantly, but our energy is still scanning, right? So whether your experiences enabled you to just constantly be on the lookout, or if your primal energy is just enabling you to constantly be on the lookout, when you're calm, when things are going smooth, people constantly feel like the other shoe is going to drop.
Right.
I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm supposed to be moving, doing, achieving, whatever it is. We have a very hard time, whether it is personally or professionally, allowing peace to just be the reality. It seems like it's impossible.
Okay. And then you have the opposite where some people are very good at living in the peace. And for someone that naturally gravitates towards chaos, it's really weird to see, right? And you're like, that's boring. But
yeah.
I see where that's calm and it could be enjoyable for them, but it's almost like my brain is like, they settled.
Yes.
Like I think that they're doing it wrong where they think I'm doing it wrong. So like, that's the different perspective on it. But anyways, we're getting lost in ourselves.
No, but that's it. I don't think that's a huge piece to point out. I'm going to have a hard time with words today.
There's going to be a lot of puppas today.
I feel like my mouth isn't working. So that's a good place.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Because that whole, like, they settled, two visions of people come to mind when you bring that up. The people who are settling, right? Who have the day act pretty well delivered, you know, and then at night they still feel unsatisfied. Then there are the people who really live in the flow and they really are in the peace. So they haven't settled. And we've met those people.
Right.
Not a lot of them, but there are people out there who genuinely just know how to live in the moment. And it is those people are very comforting to see for me.
Yes.
But it's also, it feels unrealistic.
Yes.
Right. And then
they have some magical recipe that we were not privy to. Like, ooh, I want to do that where you're just like, everything is chill. Like whatever gets thrown at them, they're like, it's fine. It's fine.
And it's almost like, are you living in the same reality that we're living in? Right. And then the people who settled, they almost feel like they're living too much in reality. For me, right? When I see them, when I feel their energy, it's like, you don't have an identity anymore because you have just, you have conformed to the white picket fence, the Stepford
Yes.
Wives, the, you know, Pleasantville and all those things. And they feel empty to me.
Yes.
So when you were bringing in that, you know, aspect, what you were just saying, which one of those two people did you have in mind?
The people that just settled.
Yeah. Okay. So they're make-believe.
Yes.
Playing make-believe.
Yes. Because to me, they not only did they settle, but also in my mind, and this is just my perception. This is not.
No, because there are definitely.
This is how I view it, is that they settled, but they're also the people that are very scared to take risks and go after the things that they want, because they're so afraid of failure that they just stay in what they know in that comfort zone. And so that's how my, like, and we'll get into like how I chose chaos professionally and personally, and like how I've navigated that into my superpower, right? Like I had to reframe myself so that it's not, a toxic trait. It's actually my superpower, right? And that's the whole point of this, is like, once you recognize this, you can reframe yourself so it's not such a scary thing anymore. But to me, when I see those people that settled, right, how I view them as settling is that they let fear run their lives.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad for them. They're missing so many really cool things, because they will also still talk about, I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could have these experiences. I wish I could be more like you. So they have the wish and they can vocalize it.
Yeah.
But it's like so far out of their realm that they're like, nope, this isn't even possible for me. And it could be, but they're scared. So anyways.
And this is not to say that choosing a traditional life is choosing peace or chaos or hiding or exposure. I didn't mean it by that, because I actually believe choosing a traditional life can be courageous and a part of what you truly desire. And there's pressures to not choose a traditional life.
Correct.
And there's pressures to choose a traditional life. So this is, even though I was using those as examples, I wasn't trying to.
That doesn't categorize everyone.
Right. Or
like
stereotype. It is just, in my experience, certain people fall into those categories. And for me, I wanted to find the balance. You know, I always had this drive of wanting the traditional life, but also wanting my independence. I wanted both, and I couldn't find the balance within those two worlds.
Right.
For me, growing up, chaos felt so comfortable.
Yes.
And it wasn't necessarily because of the environment that I was raised in. Yes, there were aspects of the environment, and there was loud noises and fights and Italian things going on. And of course, there's a backstory to that, right? But as I was telling Nicole earlier, it was more like 10% my environment, 90% my internal chemistry, wiring. Because when I was diagnosed with ADD at 42 years old, I called up my friend who I've known literally since I was 9. We grew up next door to each other. And I was like, I read how you can have late adult ADHD and all that stuff. And I thought, okay, I can see how that may have happened to me. But I called him and I was like, Andy, have I always been like this? And he was like, yes, you have. You have always been like this. This is not something that you grew into. And what I realized, I liked hanging out with the guys when I was younger, because they were jumping off bridges and jumping off cliffs and just being around them.
Adrenaline junkies, like boys are.
Literally adrenaline junkies. Hi, Andy, right? His energy made me feel calm. It made me feel comfortable. I didn't want to be in the fucking car with him as he's driving 200 miles an hour. I didn't want to
jump. With your football helmet on, we did discuss that earlier.
Yeah, there was a football helmet involved. But anyway, I didn't want to jump off the bridge, but I wanted to be there.
Right.
And I had the camera and I was taking the photographs and I was around the
So you were experiencing it with them, but not doing.
Correct.
Because that was the exciting part for you.
That was the exciting part for me. I loved being there. I still want to do that stuff, but we're older now and there's less people to do that with.
Jump off the bridge and swim.
Or just go. Anyway, I did jump off a cliff once and I got bruised from ass to knees. It wasn't fun. Anyway,
Do not recommend. 0 stars.
as I got older, I hung out with addicts because their addiction and their chaos made me feel calm. Like, of course, we can go to the, it gave me purpose and I got to take care and all the other aspects, but it also made me feel calm. I have a very distinct memory. I'm not going to give all the details, but I was with a gentleman. I was like 22 years old. No, maybe I was like 25 because I was a bartender. And he was up all night and he was using substances to create the up all nightness. And I was stone cold sober. And I was like, I wonder why you have to do all that. And I don't. And I'm just, that's fine. I'm just awake. And I'm just here with you. And we have the same energy. And it's great. And I felt, because that person was just, I felt so calm inside. And then,
you just made me have like a whole ass epiphany. Okay, keep going.
Oh, yeah. It felt great. I didn't have to do shit, but I was like, this is so calming to every part of my body. And then I would go to NYHC, New York City, NYCH, New York City hardcore shows. God damn it. This was like the 90s. I don't even remember. Yuppie side. Anyway, I had such a crush on that guy. Anyway, okay, I digress. These people were screaming. And I was just like, I feel so good. Like, everyone's in black. Everyone's just angry and doing this thing. And I'm like, I got this pink dress on in the back of the fucking, what are those things called where you listen to music?
Concert.
Yeah, but it's like a small
theater, stadium,
venue. Okay. And it made me so happy. Like listening to people scream made me so happy. It just like filled me with joy. I don't know. It's crazy. I know. It just calmed my nervous system. So the point is, it has taken me a really long time. Literally last year, I went to Chicago and I was like debating with my girlfriend, that I enjoy chaos and chaos calms my system. And she was like, no, it's just what you're used to. And I was like, no, it's what I want. And then as I did more self-discovery, 2025 was huge for me. That was like, I have had a lot of reinventions and a lot of pivots, but 2025, I just cracked that bitch open and really understood the difference between chaos, adventure, a calm nervous system, and what I was attracting. And it was my last relationship where he was extremely ADHD. And I remember saying to myself, okay, so when your ADHD is kicking in, I don't have to be. I get to like settle down and be calm. And it was like that moment that started the unraveling of me understanding chaos, the difference between chaos and a settled nervous system. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you absolutely gave me an epiphany in there of because my personal experience also is all of my relationships have been with addicts, right?
Yeah.
Throughout since the dawn of time, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I meet a normal, calm, nice human and I'm like, and I'm bored.
Yeah.
Red flag, Nicole, red flag. But that actually makes sense, is that because my natural personality is here, right?
Yeah.
And I don't need things to enhance my being.
Yeah.
I'm just naturally all over the place, right? That makes me feel normal.
I know.
I never looked at it from that angle. So I was like, you know what? Okay, that make me feel normal. Great, thank you. So I never thought of it that way.
It's an energy. It's that was one of the reasons, as we were talking earlier, that is very typically one of the reasons why I could never go to therapy, because they didn't understand that,
Right.
the energy aspect of it. They always wanted to diagnose me with, well, it's because your mother did this and your father did this. And,
Right.
yeah. Okay, great. But no, that's not why, or it's because you are, what was this thing I read last year? Something about being a self-masochist. I don't remember what the title was. And then I was like, okay, I can see how that fits me, but I'm not diagnosing myself that for more than 30 seconds until I work it out and I'm all better. But it was quite literally, they wanted to find some reason in a book
To fix it.
Some label to give me to fix it. And it is just an energy exchange. It is this high frequency that I continuously operate at. And then I crash, right? But it's not bipolar or manic because it doesn't come with the emotions. It's just a frequency.
Yep.
And when somebody else can maintain and hold that frequency, it allows me to just be, okay. And it's not the same as me being a people pleaser or taking care of everybody or having to manage the situation. Yes, those things have also occurred and been things that I've dealt with. But in this aspect, and I didn't actually mean to even bring it to this place, but in this aspect, it is simply a fucking frequency where it's like, okay, I am constantly.
Right. So do you feel like now that we've kind of like diagnosed that, we've like completely,
I know, I'm so
like,
sorry.
like we completely went off of like what we were originally going to, like how we were going to frame this. So this was on the fly. But no, I love this because like you helped me see something that like I had no idea. It's just been a plaguing thing for the last, 25, so 30 years of like, Nicole, why do you keep choosing the same people? And it wasn't me choosing those chaotic, addictive relationships because I liked the scary side of it at all. It was
not even about the uncertainty.
It was the fun. It was the energy of that person in those moments, which is kind of twisted if you think about it that way. But do you feel that because both of us, not being the addicts, but that is the direction that we choose to go to, that is why we were able to become such good friends, is because our frequency like absolutely aligned. And so like when we first episode talked about mirror neurons and things like that, like our frequencies are just like and like link up, and we're like, yes, we can act like these crazy fools. It makes sense to both of us. Like there's no justification. There's no like, you don't feel weird. You know what I mean? Where if you go into a conversation with somebody that doesn't operate at that frequency, that level, right? So they're running lower than us, lower energy, lower like chaos. And you feel like, one, you're too much for them in that conversation, or two, that you have to keep bringing the conversation out of them because it's not natural for them, right?
Yes.
And here's where the boredom sets in, right? So like, let's say you don't operate at the same frequency as me. We sit down, we have a business conversation, right? I'm doing all the talking. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm leading the conversation. You've got like one word snippet answers. At that point, I think my overthinking like brain is going, okay, they're disengaged. They're not interested. I'm going to end the conversation.
Yeah. Constantly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then because I'm bored, it has nothing to do with you. You may be super interested, but the way you operate, you have to slow down and process, right? You have a calm mentality. And I'm like, nope, rapid fire, right? Yeah. So now I'm misinterpreting and I just walk away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's so many things that you just said that I want to respond to. But one of the things is, you and I were able to get to this place because we're finally accepting our own frequency.
Correct.
So when we were in the rooms with those other people where it was like, oh my God, you're boring the shit out of me. It's because I can't walk faster. Anyway,
I get road rage walking all the time. Grocery stores, like, dude, get out of my way. Like, I was in Norway last week and like people are just like walking. And I'm like, no. I had my meta glasses on. I couldn't share any of that video because I look like a psycho.
Oh my God.
Tailgating people on the sidewalk. And I'm like, I was on vacation. I had nowhere to fucking be. Like, I have all the time in the world and I'm still like,
Woo! Yeah.
I mean, oh, man.
So before we were able to, a lot of times it's about readjusting who you are and going into this quiet space or fixing that or fixing this, right? The way that I think you and I operate is no, we want to accept who we are. We don't want to fix who we are. We want to accept it and we want to understand it and we want to operate within it to the best way possible. And so we were able to attract to each other because both of us were at this point where we're like, fuck it, we are just who we are, which then allowed that to kind of like start shining out, which means before when we were like masking or pretending or keeping ourselves small, we were getting in rooms, whether it was professionally or personally, whether it was relationships, male, platonic relationships, romantic, Jesus Christ. I couldn't get to that word.
Hold on. Let her get off the list of relationships we can possibly have.
We couldn't fucking be ourselves. We weren't allowing ourselves to be ourselves.
Or apologizing for yourself when it would start to crack and come out.
Right. So we were just attracting false.
I had to do that.
Yeah. And we were attracting false fucking frequencies because we were acting as false frequencies.
Correct.
So yes, there is I have said so many times that it's very hard for me to have conversations with people. And when I am around addicts, unfortunately, they seem to do deeper thinking.
They do deeper
and
thinking,
they want
but it's going faster.
It's going faster, but it's very expansive. And I can sit there and have a 4-hour, 5-hour fucking conversation with somebody who's on drugs that wants to talk about how deep the goddamn universe is. I know.
That's a great idea. Yes.
And now, there's not a lot of sober people who have that ability, that want to go deep. So is that, it has now gotten to the point where it is a recognition. I understand that about me. And because I now understand that about me, I can authentically gravitate towards somebody who can have those conversations and be sober at the same time. So it's a stepping stone. We get to experience ourselves in a different way, which then brings different people into our lives. And it's not to say, and so going back to that conversation in Chicago, it's not to say that chaos is bad. It's just bad in the way that we chose it.
Yes. Until we figured ourselves out.
Right. Yes. And boring isn't bad. It's just not for us.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do the normal people, I don't even know who's normal, who's not, but how do other people who are choosing chaos out of protection, out of survival, or who are choosing quiet out of survival and protection, how do we get those people out of survival mode? Because we're in a day and age right now where we don't have to scan for saber-toothed tigers.
That is true.
And we are not hunting and gathering unless we're going to fucking Sprouts.
Or the farmer's market.
On the farmer's market. But I mean, some people
still, somebody already gathered it. I just got to buy it.
Right, exactly. I mean, we may have to watch out for the explosive diarrhea. But other than that,
we went there.
I mean, that's the extent of our survival mode right now. And is there going to be toilet paper on the fucking shelves when we're experiencing explosive diarrhea? But again, I'm not being eaten by a tiger.
Shit.
So how do we get everybody? How do we move people from survival mode, whatever their experience of survival mode is, and being okay with their own frequency so that they can actually attract the right person? That doesn't need to be in order. So many things happening right now.
So we'll go back to what we've said.
Listen, Linda.
This one is like,
okay.
Wow, I did not see this episode going this way.
I didn't know this is.
Listen, I'm not sure how we got here, but we're here now. Okay, so in all seriousness, stop sniffling. Okay. All right. So, in all seriousness, in all of our episodes, the main theme in like understanding these different dynamics is we're gonna go like emotional intelligence. Like everybody needs self-awareness.
Yes.
And to sit down and truly sit with themselves and understand who they are. Like now, who am I projecting to you?
Yeah.
But also, is that comfortable? Is the person I'm projecting to you, is that comfortable for me? Or do I feel like I'm an alien in a human suit?
Right. So let me ask you this. That's like,
she just had a mental image of me as an alien in a human suit. Give her a second, please. This is where we need hold music.
okay. Don't I project chaos? But like in a very fun way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But in a controlled, chaotic way.
Yeah.
Not in a like, the world is falling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there are people like that like,
Right.
shit, like they need fucking help. But no, it's
Which is what we meant to talk about.
yeah. Whoops.
I'm just so comfortable in the ridiculousness of life.
Same.
And I think the key, I think what we were getting at, and what I feel like I don't know what you just said to me.
You were trying so hard to like hold your laughter in that your brain stopped working. It was like, nope, I need all of the oxygen in the room.
Yes.
What I said was,
Please repeat it. Yeah.
that you need to, everybody needs to like focus on self-awareness and
Yes.
understand themselves as in different aspects of themselves, not just like, okay, we're going to talk about our feelings and whatever.
Right.
No, it's who are you right now? Like who are you projecting? Is that the same person that's internal? Because there's those two realities, right?
Yeah.
The person I show you and the person I really am. So if I'm projecting something that is not real, I'm masking myself, right? To appease you. That feels really uncomfortable inside, right?
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to project peace to you because I'm afraid you're not going to accept the chaos within me.
Yeah.
And so my chaos is inside like fighting an internal battle and it just wants to burst out and I'm uncomfortable and I don't like it. And that's where we start to overthink those conversations.
And that's where we start to attract the wrong type of...
Because I'm lying to you about who I am. Only to make you comfortable, but I'm uncomfortable. And that's where we need to like backtrack people. So back to your question of like, how do we get people to stop living in fear, right? And to stop settling and all of that is...
And to stop masking.
Just take a step back and understand, like, who are you? Who are you truly? And are you letting that person shine or are you locking them away?
Yeah. I really do think that's the key because chaos is one of those words that my husband says I live backwards and in rewind. Everything is like the flip side.
Okay.
And so for chaos, it's one of those words to me that is like, God, it feels so good though. But I had to understand me and I had to understand the way the world perceives that word and that frequency and that energy. And then I had to align them and really figure out, like, there were moments in my history where having that chaotic energy absolutely attracted the toxic side of chaos.
Correct.
Because I was in denial of my own energy. Now I have flipped that upside down, wide open, that I can't even pretend to attract the toxic side anymore. I can't go backwards, but it's still...
Well, you had to learn that lesson.
I had to learn that lesson. And so that's what I'm saying is the key is really self-acceptance.
Yes.
You know, it really does. When you can just look at yourself in the mirror. I was talking to G the other day, our friend G, love her. You guys will meet her.
She's going to be our first guest in 2 months.
Yeah.
It's going to be a trip.
It's going to be amazing. And so she was asking me not to say self-deprecating, things like, don't say that about yourself. Don't say that about yourself. But I'm at this stage in my life. And I told you,
heard I had that same conversation this week.
okay. But I'm at this stage in my life where I get what she's saying. And I agree with her to an extent, but there is an observer and then there is the I am, right? And so it's the observer that looks at the ego and goes, you are just a ridiculous fucking idiot sometimes. And the I am part of me, the spirit part of me, the energy system part of me doesn't get insulted by that.
No, they're like, yeah, I am, and I'm having a great time.
Exactly. It's more like fun banter. But it wasn't always like that. I wasn't always capable of looking in the mirror and being like, you're still silly today. You're kind of silly with the hair that looks like you put your fingers in the light socket, But now I can. And absolutely, like, I can look at myself now and see whatever flaw, that mainstream society sees and, pick apart things. But I pick it apart with like, fuck, that's got to go. And that's pretty ridiculous. And what are you doing over here? But it's with a smile on my face.
Right.
And it's with just genuine observation.
Okay.
It is not judgment or critique. It is observation.
I like that.
Yeah. Because I think when you can sit in observation of everything, of yourself, of your experience, of your interactions,
right,
you can actually calm your nervous system even in the chaos.
Yes.
Like we can go from chaotic. I can go from, I don't think my mouth is working today, to all of a sudden being like, hold on, let me just fairy dust you with
some awesomeness I've got going on over here. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. The observer versus the judgment.
Yeah.
And just changing it. You're allowed to say the things. You're allowed to think the things.
Yeah.
And you're your own worst critic. I need to be my critic, but I don't need to be negative about it.
Right.
But I can observe like where I messed up, right? Like,
so you can do better.
Right. It's me admitting like, I kind of fucked that one up.
Yeah.
Like, right. But like, okay, well, let's just pivot over here and like do it this way, right? Because that didn't work. Like, so sorry you spent 9 hours trying to edit video the other day, Nicole, and threw a temper tantrum like a toddler.
Right.
But I walked away, and then the next day all was right as rain, right?
Yeah.
And what was my voice message to you the next morning? Like the day before, the sky was falling, and then all of a sudden it was like,
yeah,
I'm out of it. Like,
she was out of it. Not only was she out of it, she was very productive. And I was quite upset because I was like, that's your spiral. That's the whole spiral. Like that was it.
Like what happened?
That's not, that was barely up.
But to me, it was like earth shattering that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was just like, I can't get anything done. And then the next day, it was like my whole body was like,
and now you're
and I got 500 things done.
Yeah, you got like 3 months worth of like done in one day.
But yeah, I had to observe myself. I'm like, this isn't working, Nicole, and have my moment and then fix it. So
I think that is the biggest blocker of the nervous system. It honestly is when we don't allow ourselves to experience our own emotions.
Yes.
When we put a block to it, whatever that block is, whether we're always think positive thoughts, you can't, if I'm fucking angry, I'm going to be angry and then I will think positive thoughts. Okay.
Well, let me work through it. It's kind of like when she was fighting with the stove that day.
Yes. The stove was being a bitch and she needed to know. And then I was good. And now me and the stove were besties.
Yeah. See, yesterday my laptop was being a bitch and I had to like shut her down.
Yeah.
And walk away.
Yeah.
And put her on timeout. And then I came back and like, then we're good. We're solid. We're communicating appropriately,
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
No, but you have to give yourself permission. I think that we just walked down the right path by accident. It's because
we got lost in the woods again.
We got lost in the woods, but listen, we found the fucking doorway.
Ironically funny because I'm terrible with directions.
Well, you don't have to be good with directions. You're going to get there. What was I just saying? Okay.
Left-hand turn.
So we had a moment where we expressed, hold on, it's coming back. I'm getting there. This is what's happening. Giving yourself permission. I remember. when you give yourself permission to feel your feelings, and you are not projecting your feelings out, because when you're projecting your feelings out, you're actually not giving yourself permission to feel your feelings. You're saying, here, have my feelings, because I don't know how to feel.
I feel miserable, so you're going to feel miserable too.
Right. Instead of just being miserable for a moment. We have been taught for so long in so many different systems how not to feel our feelings. And literally so many different systems. I'm sure whoever's watching can name like 30 different ideologies, thought process, mindsets that get you out of feeling your feelings. And all you have to do, number one, is start by feeling your feelings, allowing yourself, giving yourself permission, whatever the goddamn feeling is, even if it's ecstasy, feeling that ecstasy
and naming it.
And naming it and not
sounds
feeling
dumb, but it works.
But it works so much. When Atlas of the Heart came out, and it was like, oh, this is just naming feelings. It was the best book ever.
Which seems so elementary, because like when you're a little kid, think about this. When you're a little kid and your parents, like, obviously they notice different things. Oh, what's wrong? What are you feeling right now? Tell me.
Yeah.
And you tell your child to like name it so that you can help them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then somewhere along the line, we're like, we have vocabulary now, right?
Yeah.
And we feel the feelings, but we don't name the feelings. Like, it seems too simple. And then we just sit in it, we stew in it, and then we project it. But then it extends the recovery period, because now not only do I feel angry, now I projected my anger onto you. Now you're angry at whatever, but also angry at me. So now when I come out of my angry cloud, right, you're so pissed off at me. Now I got to deal with that. And so it becomes this back and forth thing.
This energy spiral.
If I would have just been like, hey, Stephanie, I can't today because I'm really angry and like, I just need a minute. And
I would have been like, okay, how?
But if you recall the day that I was having my, as you call it, my mini spiral, whatever. And I was like, it started because I tried to say good morning. Good night. I was like, oh my God. That's how she knew I was like fucked up in my head. Yeah. I was like 6 o'clock in the morning and she said, good night. I was like, oh, so we're just skipping. And I was like, we're skipping today. That's what's happening today. Right. And I was like, and like, here's everything that's going on. And I was like, I'm just going to stay out of the chat threads today because I'm choosing violence and I don't want to project that to you. And so I did. I was just like super quiet that day. And then the next day, like, okay, hey, I'm back, bitches, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so there was your bat.
That
signal.
was so funny. Yeah. You were like, good night. I was like, we're not doing today. Okay. But yes, naming them, that honestly, when I read that book, I was like, oh my God, everything I felt like that was the best therapy I ever had, was being able to name, yes, I feel that. Yes, I feel that. No, I don't feel that. If you're a parent out there, get that book, because sometimes it is difficult. You're like, I don't know what this feeling is. And honestly, it is just vocabulary words of feelings, and it is amazing. But then once you give yourself permission to feel the feelings, that's when all of a sudden it starts to change what's happening inside. Yes. And it starts to create a foundation of acceptance. And then it's like, okay, now I can be this person because I understand this person. Yes. And you no longer want to project. Although you still might throw temper tantrums.
That's different. I'm going to keep my temper tantrums. They're effective. Okay.
Yeah, they are effective. And they're so much quicker now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like mine the other night was just 30 seconds long. I was like, and then
she told me about her temper tantrum. That was a good one too. But
yeah.
So if we're giving steps to get through the chaos, the chaotic moments, the uncomfortable moments,
toxic side of
the
chaos.
Toxic chaos, not the fun chaos.
Right.
And everyone's side.
Because they're
actually, we won't call it fun. We'll call it like the negative side and the positive side of chaos, because there are two different. There's also the negative and the positive side of normal and calm.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
Like,
yes.
Good. There's the good calm that is intentional, like what you were talking about. But then there's also the negative side where it's driven by fear. So both have good and bad. Aha. We got there. It took a minute. Don't worry. But we got there. Okay. I really like these new chairs, by the way. I know. So really like our new chairs. I can't sit back in this outfit. It'll look really funny. But anyway,
it'll give you the poof.
Yeah.
Mine is natural.
Whatever. We digress. Okay, so when we're looking at the negative side of chaos and we want to like work through the thing. So first we need to like stop, regulate. Anyways, we need to stop. We need to stop and acknowledge, right? Something's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we need to give it a name.
Yeah.
And then we need to accept that that is what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Not where people get stuck in the spiral. So this is why my spiral was quick.
Yeah.
Is because I was able to easily recognize, first of all, like, oh shit, something's off in the matrix, right? Like I've got some feelings today, right? And they're big ones. Like this is like a showstopper.
Yeah.
So
it did.
And so like recognizing what those are, I named them, like understanding like, okay, this is why I feel like this today, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of sitting with that and accepting that as the like, oh, okay, it's not anything that I can change. It's not anything that needs a solution. I can't solve it, but this is my reality right now. This is why I'm feeling this way. So just allowing it to kind of sit there. If I would have sat there and tried to like solve all the problems of the world, that spiral would have went on for days.
Yeah.
But I was just letting it live there for a minute because I needed to feel that.
Yeah.
There was a purpose behind me feeling that. And I also knew that because I was doing those things, I flat out told you, I'll be fine tomorrow. I know that those were my exact words to you.
Yeah.
I know that when I wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, but like being fine and accomplishing 3 months worth of work are two different things. And I was like, what, bitch?
You won't. And this is the point that I've gotten to. And trust me, it wasn't an easy process at all. Like it was a long road to get to.
I am very impressed.
These things of like, okay, this is what I need to do. And like, accept that this is how I feel right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like
it is okay.
The world is not going to stop today. It's not going to. And when I wake up tomorrow, like all of this is like tucked neatly away. It's okay. We dealt with it. Like we felt it. And now the next morning, and I was like, la, 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 moving on.
For me, in addition to all of that, it was yes, acknowledging, yes, naming, understanding the moment. But I had to put another spin on it just for me and my own journey. Because what would happen in my brain is when I would get into those spirals, and not anymore because I've learned, but it would feel like all of a sudden that was my new normal. And so I would get so deeply embedded in the spiral that a trick that I taught myself is I literally have to remind myself, this is just temporary. This is only a moment. This is not, but that I have been doing that. I don't have to say that to myself anymore, but I did that for about a decade where I had to remind myself this is temporary, because when I would go into that hole, essentially, I couldn't remember anything that came before the hole or after the hole.
And that's how I used to be.
Yeah.
So this has, like you, this has been a progression over time of learning myself and learning how to much quicker get out of the spiral instead of it lasting a week, 5 days, 4 days. You know what I mean? Like over time, like when you do these things consistently, you're teaching yourself.
You're teaching yourself. You're literally rewiring your brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is legit what I had to do. And that's why I can go jump in the spiral and jump back out real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just recognizing it instead of you overthinking that day and everybody else that I talk to on a regular basis and being like, what's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. Nope, I don't need that because that's gonna piss me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't do that.
No,
I was like,
and that's why I'm the first, I recognize it. I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to let this bitch sit here by herself today. You know what I mean? And it's the, like, if I need you, I know you're there.
Yeah.
But like, I just had to work through the things. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of creating negative chaos in your life, I was like, oh, we're going to sit in mine.
And that is so valuable. I think that is important, not only in relationships back and forth, but what you just said and that entire process of what you just said is basically not becoming the victim. And there are so many people that, in addition to getting in the spiral, and me, myself included, me, myself, and I, when I would get into the spiral and it would last a week, a month, however long it would last, you know, it was misery loves company.
Yep.
That's the part of the victim that I mean, not necessarily the other stories of like, this is what happened to me and this is why I'm feeling
Right.
this. But it was,
I want you to feel like shit with me.
Right. And I want to reach out so we can talk about
Commiserate together.
Commiserate.
Yeah.
That is not productive. And those are going back to the conversations of like boring. I cannot commiserate with people. I'm gonna always try and find a solution for you if you're coming to me with your misery. If you're just saying I'm fucking miserable, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Awesome. I love you. Go be a badass in sleep world today.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is.
Like ninjas in your dream.
But if you just want to complain and look to have those complaining conversations and be one of those relationships, those suck. Those are
suck out my soul.
I cannot. And that has been such a long battle for me also. So going back to like attracting the wrong type of person, when I was denying my true nature, I would find myself attracting those
Soul suckers.
constantly.
I know. Same.
Oh my God. And
then you wonder why you felt like shit all the time.
oh my God, I would go home and I'd be like, I need to sleep for the next 4 days.
Yes, because it just like it sucks out all of your energy and you're like, I got nothing left. I can't even function anymore.
And honestly, I would give myself the label back in the day of being an introvert extrovert because I wanted to. Yeah, because I wanted to be this extrovert. I wanted to be out there. And then I would go out there and be around these people who were just fucking
That's going to be really funny.
you know, and all they wanted to do was like bitch about other people or bitch about their own life or bitch
their relationship and their
and I'm like
things.
That was so much fun. I'm gonna go home now. Yeah, I have to recharge my battery. No, I need new friends.
Recharge my life. Yeah.
Can we just talk about all the books that you read and like these kind of conversations?
Right. Yeah.
And then throw in a little ridiculous here and there. Throw in a little like personal BS, but not make it your whole I'm going to stop.
She's going to stop now.
I'm going to stop.
Okay, so
I don't like that.
Well, we don't do that.
I know. It's so good.
We don't do
You're
that.
like, today is a bad day. I said, okay. G said something else. She gave her a little advice on what to do with herself.
We won't go into that.
And all is well.
All is well with the world.
Yeah.
And here we are. We came back around full circle. So, okay. So we talked a lot about the personal side of chaos.
I guess.
Over peace.
I feel like,
but that's good because I think that just putting a different lens on it of instead of looking at chaos as a whole is one thing, as negative, it's not.
No,
it's not. And what you were able to do is you were able to take both of us, we were able to take what we knew as the negative chaos, right? And accept that about ourselves instead of like, nope, we need to completely get away and change who we are. We changed the outlook on chaos, right?
Yeah.
Found the positive as well. So we severed it, right? And made it our own version.
We made better choices.
I'm over here making good choices. So proud of you. Good job, team. But so with that, like now let's like switch into professional life. So when we look at chaotic environments, choosing chaos over calm in professional life. So not only was I an ass in my personal life and went for chaos over calm over there, but I also did it professionally. And when I had to like fully look at me as a human and like, why? Because I was making both of my realities chaotic, right?
Yeah.
Like going into companies that were, ridiculous industries that had just very volatile environments as a whole, and going in and cleaning up the chaos and building systems and making it run efficiently and do those types of things. And then as soon as everything was like at that like maintenance mode and chill, I was like, and I'm bored, I'm out. You know what I mean? And I would go on to my next dumpster fire, so to speak, right? And then go in and clean it up. And I got really good at being able to go into those things. And so when I had the like, okay, let's like stop and like look at all of the stuff, like personal and professional, like why am I doing this? And understanding the personal side of it, but why am I doing that in my professional life? And instead of beating myself up, I found this, I found the silver lining. And it was also, it's been expressed to me several times over the last few years, and more recently in, you know, these collaborative relationships that I'm building on my own outside of, you know, working for a company, working for myself now. You know, you, G, like all of these people are like, you are so good at when I call you in a panic. Yeah. And, you know, like literally everything is collapsing, right, in your business and things like that, that you can take all of that chaotic word vomit, calmly sit there, put it together, make it make sense, and immediately have a solution. Yeah. Without freaking out. And that has been like, that is my superpower. It is. And that is what I had to come to terms with of, it wasn't that I was bored per se in those environments, but I knew that my job was done, right? Like I taught them, I gave them my knowledge, I built them the systems, they just had to do it. But I would move on to the next company, to the next person, you know, whatever, the next client, to go in and give them that piece that I was the bridge to what they needed in order to move forward, because the chaos was crippling to them, where for me, I can calmly walk through that fire.
So did you, for most of your life, look at that skill set and that superpower and demonize it or speak badly about yourself, think that you were starting fires as opposed to putting out fires?
No, I didn't. I actually, so I found it very enjoyable. It's very exciting for me to like go into, this is going to be kind of messed up, but like, it's really exciting for me to go in and to be able to like diagnose these, like the problems within the company, right? And like see solutions that other people don't see because they're too close to the problem, right? Like they're doing this stuff all day. And I attributed that to like when I started my career, before I even knew what I was going to be when I grew up, kind of just like magically unfolded. But one of the things that I was really good at is I was a corporate trainer for a lot of years. And what I would do is I would reverse engineer how I was trained. And all of the pieces that were missing, all the things that I had to figure out on my own, those were the things that I was like, no, I need to reinvent this training process and like put all of this in here because it's going to make the next person coming in so much better. You know what I mean? So that they're comfortable. And like, obviously in business, when you're talking about employees and things like that, the retention is like, that's huge. It costs so much fucking money when we are like, when we're looking at turnover in companies, because it's not just the recruiting, it's the training, it's the lost productivity. It's all of these things that we don't even calculate in there. And it's insane. And like how much it affects the morale of everybody that's left. Right. And so if you can get ahead of that, if you can focus on that, when you bring somebody in, it saves you so much money on the tail end. And that was like the whole first part of my career before I even got into leadership and HR and like all these other things. Like that was my foundation. And so going into these companies later on and being able to fix what was broken, or, you know, there was a couple of them that I went in, I mean, it was a shit show, you know, and I was like, whoop, and it's just take a second to like process everything that's happening and understand what the priorities are. And it's like a hit list for me, right? And I just go through all of those things. It's super exciting, but to fix it, but it's also super exciting for me to see the growth of the company because of the solutions that I had, right? Yeah. And they're not earth-shattering, crazy things that nobody knows about. they're simple solutions. It just takes somebody to be calm enough to walk into that and implement it.
It goes back to that chaos creates the calm in you.
Correct.
Yeah. And I totally understand. Like once it got boring, it's like, well, now I have to quit this job or I have to move on because
I didn't feel like there was anything left for me to do. And
there wasn't.
Right.
Because it's not catering to your superpower, your skill set, or your strengths.
But what you had asked is, did I look at it negative?
Right.
No, it fueled me, right?
Yeah.
Like because of those things. But from an outsider perspective, and this again is how society is like, whatever it itself, is that from an outsider perspective, is that Nicole doesn't know what the fuck she wants to do. She's very flighty. She's here, she's there. She's bouncing from this industry to this industry, from this company to this company in all these different positions. Every single move I made was 100% intentional.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. I chose. It wasn't like, oh, you suck at life, I'm going to fire you. There was never any of that. I still speak to coworkers from my entire life, going back to when I was 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I speak to all the owners of those companies, all the CEOs, everybody. Like there's no ill will in any of that. Those were my choices that like, okay, I don't feel like there's anything left for me to do here. I need to go someplace else because that's what I needed.
So when you say the outside world, has there been feedback to you that says like, what are you doing, Nicole?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. When we talked previously about like kind of the box that you're expected to fit into, as far as like family and things like that, to them, it doesn't make sense. Again, remember I grew up in the middle of absolute nowhere.
Yeah.
Where you get married at 20 and you have a job and you work that job until you retire. Like you have one job, right?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because I can't imagine somebody giving you the feedback of what are you doing?
Right.
I see what you do, and to me, it's
there's also
mind-blowing.
You have to
incredible.
speak to it in interviews, right? Like when I was actually working inside of companies, and I would go into interviews, and they're like, "Why do you want to leave your job? Why do you have this? Blah 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 blah." Right?
It's like me with clients. Well, they graduated. The company graduated,
right?
And they don't need me anymore.
My answer was always like, I accomplished what I was brought in to do.
Yeah.
It's in maintenance mode. There's nothing left for me to fix. And that is my answer. Now, in these positions, some other people are fine sitting in that role and just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, me neither.
I'm not going to sit there and spin around in my chair and stare at a wall and be like, well, everything's chill. I'm just going to collect a paycheck. Dude, no, I can't. Like that crushes me. It's so boring. I can't do that. Like I need to, as a human, like I have to go in and like be able to create and fix and like use my brain. Otherwise, I'm not fulfilled.
I think that's so important right now for people to understand.
Sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, but I think it's really important. So right there, we are always talking about these two aspects, the personal aspects of these psychological and energetic, topics, and then the professional aspect. And right now I find with so many people, especially my clients, they're at this point in life and the world is changing so much that they don't know who they want to be when they grow up, even if they're already all grown up, because they don't know themselves, right? And they're looking to old systems and they're looking to old feedback and they're looking to the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and they don't see themselves there.
Yes.
But they also don't know who they are yet. And so one of the things that I think we both believe and talk about is knowing who you are first and then catering to and finding your superpower. And I think you just, what? Hold on. Why? All the goddamn concussions. I think okay. I'm having a really hard time with this sentence. You spoke so well, the opposite of what I'm doing, in how to utilize your superpower in a professional way, how to be comfortable with you among the systems and the culture and, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and the feedback telling you should be something else. You have embraced your energy, your frequency, your way of operation, and created a life for yourself, created a journey, created a career. For me, I didn't know, right? I didn't embrace my own frequency. I just did it. I just full speed ahead. And I wound up being an art teacher for a decade. I cannot draw for shit. I was learning how to paint while teaching those kids how to paint. My first love of art was in the darkroom. But what I enjoyed about being an art teacher, or how I even got there, was because I could do something different every day. I was really teaching them how to be themselves. I was teaching them expression. I was not teaching them
art technique.
I mean, I had the posters on the wall, but
please read.
Yeah. I had the curriculum. I knew what to say, but
that's pretty cool.
It was good. It was I loved it. And the worst thing I ever did for myself was I became an administrator, but you veered away from. I veered away from my energy because I listened to the next thing you're supposed to do, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And I need to make more money, and I need to climb the ladder, and I need to keep going. After 15 years and, at the dean level, I was like, fuck this shit. It's
not fun anymore.
It's not fun anymore. I should have never left. Well, that's not true. I love what I do now. But if I was just understanding my energy and just understanding my frequency, I would not have left being an art teacher. I would not have tried to do something different. I mean, I may have pivoted and somehow still became what I do now, because this feels more like me. But in the beginning of my mainstream career, being an art teacher was me actually following my frequency. Becoming an administrator was me following somebody else's rules and regulations, and it didn't work.
A pre-designated path that you didn't even want to be on.
No, I did not want to be on it.
It was just making sure my microphone was on.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I think that's really important what you just said. And I think if we're going to bring it back to, the people who are listening, because I know you and I both are among many women, among many people right now who are in the pivot, who are trying to redefine.
They feel stuck.
Yeah. Yes. Who they are professionally. Mm-hmm. And they don't know who they really are personally. And I know for me, before this year, even though I have been Primal Heart for 15 years now, however long, it's been reinvented so many times.
Correct.
Primal Heart has become something over and over and over again. And I've taken it in so many different directions because I didn't, every time I was like, that doesn't feel like me. That doesn't look like me. It doesn't, But it wasn't until I did all that deconstruction of myself last summer
that it became
me.
Right.
And now I can look at my website and I'm like, that feels like me. That looks like me. That sounds like me.
Yes.
And the offers and the things that I teach, I'm like, oh, that is absolutely who I am and what I do. And all across the board, these are all.
And it doesn't feel like work anymore.
It doesn't feel like work anymore.
So I don't know if this was ever said to you when you were a kid. Did anyone ever tell you, like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life?
No.
Okay. So I remember hearing that at some point. I don't know. Maybe it was on TV. Whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter who said it. And I didn't understand, right? And there was also, keep in mind the internet didn't exist either. So I feel like I was given, here's the list of potential careers that were very black and white, right? Like these titles. These are the only options you have in life. Right.
Not only that, there was literally a test that we took in high school. That's you're
the best at this.
And this is who you should be when you grow up.
Yeah.
And mine was a music teacher. And I was like, one, I love music, but two, I mean, I can read it, but
mine was a psychologist or an attorney. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
But so with all that being said, it took years into adulthood, and people that get stuck in this pivot, I think we still kind of have that mindset of this, there's hard boundaries on job titles, right?
Yeah.
So I can only be an accountant. I can only be a psychologist. I can only be a therapist. I can only be blah, 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 insert whatever fucking title.
Yeah.
Like
traditional title. You know what's really cool? You know what's so cool that I've discovered within the last few years?
What?
You can create whatever fucking job title you want. You can create any, like, you can literally be whoever you want to be and title yourself and start something that actually makes you happy.
I did that.
I did that too.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that I could do that.
No, not until I was 50 fucking years old.
Correct. And so I think that's super important lesson. And this isn't even about chaos and peace anymore, but like it kind of is.
Well, it kind of
When
is
you're
because
trapped.
we're navigating life. Yeah.
Yes. When you're trapped and you're like, I don't know who I'm going to be next. Like, where am I going? Like, what is my next path? All of that. Take the pressure off of the title.
Right.
Like,
And
we talked about that last time, but take the title away, right? Figure out what makes you happy, what you're good at that makes you happy.
What makes you happy?
And then build the title that
Yes.
makes you happy. When you look at it and you're like, yes, when I introduce myself, I can be like, hi, I'm Dr. Nicole, insert whatever the hell I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only what makes you happy, but what fills you up.
You'll find a way to
and-
make money with it.
and is your superpower. Very early in my life, I remember always, counseling my friends, trying to tell them
The best parts of
the
themselves.
best parts of themselves. And it made me feel so good, and it made them feel good. It wasn't me being a dick or bullying. Like it made
No,
them
but you
feel
were truthful and you're showing them themselves.
right. And it made them feel loved, and it made me feel like I was giving love. And it just, yes, it was very fulfilling. It filled us up. And if I had awareness of that, not even listened to it, but was able to observe myself,
What you were doing.
what I was
Yes.
doing, I would have not waited until I was 50.
I mean,
No, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's
been
fine.
beautiful life.
but I feel like you had to go through all the other things first. As did I.
did
Like
have
we
to go through
had
those.
to go through those things because that's what makes what you do now a million times better.
Oh, absolutely.
If you would have been you at 20 without all of that life experience and all the mistakes and all the chaos
Yeah.
and all the lessons,
Yeah.
right?
It would be empty. There would be no correct substance to it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, I'm going to read out of this textbook and I feel like this is what's wrong with you.
Right. Exactly.
Like you wouldn't have any heart and soul to your message.
So therefore, henceforth, the chaos of my life has brought me great peace.
Full circle.
Yeah. That I just thought of that.
She created her
I
own piece in the chaos.
I did.
Oh,
did.
snap.
So good. It's so good.
So good. Anyways.
Yeah. We're gonna take a hold on and see.
We're going to take a time out.
We're gonna take a hold on and see if there's
Did we
anything.
follow?
Ooh.
Oh.
What did you find? What did you find? Oh, we did that. We did some of these.
We did some of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were not unfamiliar with peace because it was wrong. You were unfamiliar with who you were allowed to be when nothing else needed to be fixed.
Yeah. Yes. Because what we just
How
discovered
did I
today,
even know?
I know, right? It's like we know ourselves. Because what we just discovered today is that
We're awesome.
you're gonna have to do a lot of fucking editing.
Or I just leave it in here because it's funny.
What did you just say?
That's on mine. This is yours.
I know, but I want you to repeat what the sentence you just said. Because the thought that I had about that sentence flew out the fucking window.
like a bird.
It was here tweeting around, and then it went and it fucked off.
Stupid pigeons. Okay, so you were not unfamiliar with peace because it was wrong. You were unfamiliar with who you were allowed to be when nothing needed to be fixed.
Oh, needed to be fixed. That's the thing that caught my attention and tweeted in and then tweeted out. Because sometimes the chaos isn't about things needing to be fixed either. And sometimes when things need to be fixed, it can be very peaceful. I love that sentence, but I could think about that sentence for probably another 45 minutes and come up because the bird
with
is
all the things.
Yeah, because seriously, because to me, what's happening again with the bird analogy is it's very pigeonholed. The energy system of chaos and the energy system of peace is misinterpreted.
Mhm.
And if we get rid of the standard interpretations and just feel the frequency of those two things, like you said earlier, there's a positive and a negative to that frequency of chaos, and there's a positive and a negative to the frequency of peace.
Correct.
And it is so expansive in its thought and in its world. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, people. Chaos and peace are not two sides of the same coin.
They're friends.
They're friends. They're working alongside of each other, but chaos has its own coin and peace has its own coin. And I think a lot of people, that's where I was going in my brain with this, is a lot of people intertwine the two. Mm-hmm. They don't think that both can exist at the same time.
Right.
And they can, because they're not the opposite sides of one coin. I got there.
And we got there.
It is not the same energy. It's not the same frequency.
Right.
And I do feel like people think that peace is the absence of chaos and chaos is the absence of peace. And that's not at all true.
No, you can have multiple emotions and multiple things at one time. And that's, when we were talking about observing, acknowledging, and naming the feelings, right? This is the same thing. You can have both at the same time. It's like chocolate and vanilla ice cream. You can swirl them.
I'm not so aggressive with that.
You swirl them, right? You just swirl it together and you make it your own ice cream cone. You know what I mean? Sorry, I don't even know why I went to ice cream. Apparently I'm hungry. Somebody said
because we're adults and we can do what we want.
We can have ice cream for breakfast.
We can have ice cream.
Yeah, me.
We can have cheesecake for breakfast.
Just gonna have cheesecake for breakfast. But anyways, so I feel like this is a really good timeout stop point.
Yeah.
No?
Absolutely.
We got there.
Because it is not one or the other. It is learning to navigate both at the same time.
And what you're comfortable with, checking in with yourself. So that's our takeaway lesson for today is just sit with yourself for a minute and understand who you are as a person and what feels comfortable for one. But also who is the person you're projecting to the world? Is that comfortable versus who you truly are inside? And if those two things are not aligned,
you're going to attract the wrong.
You're creating your own negative chaos right there because it's painful. It hurts, right? It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So find whoever is inside of you.
Yeah.
How do we get that to come out, right? And how do we, if everybody else is uncomfortable, that's when we need to start to check our network, right? Because clearly, and this kind of sucks, and I'm not telling everybody just blow up their lives with oh, you can't be my friend anymore, and you can't be my spouse, whatever. But that is where we start to do a lot of the internal work is are you surrounding yourself with people that fill your cup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you can be you and it's okay. Or
you just
is that
one aspect
energetically draining to you in every single interaction? Do you have the negative ninnies that are sucking out your soul every single time?
So bad.
Or can you go and hang out and you feel supercharged when you come home? You know what I mean? If we were to go have a pool party right now, we'd be crazy 12-year-old crackheads in my pool, having a great time. And
oh my God, I think we would play Marco Polo.
Oh, exactly. You know what I mean? And we would have so much fun. And at the end of the day, she could go home and be talk to her husband and be I had so much fun. I had my close pool, And instead of, oh God, that chick sucks out my soul.
Yeah.
That is the difference. Those are the people that they recharge you. They don't drain you. And it starts with who you have to be in order to interact with them.
You have to be you.
Yeah. Or,
to interact with the
Yeah. So like if I'm masking
Uglies,
me
yeah.
to appease you, like that drains me. Also, your negative energy is draining me. So it's a double drain on my battery, right? So fast. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a double drain on your battery. There's my crack. This is why I don't need drugs.
I love it.
This is why I don't need drugs. Like I go at this speed
No.
all the time. It's really
No.
crazy. Whew, can you imagine?
Drugs are dumb.
Drugs are bad, people.
Okay.
I knew you were going to get there. But,
Jesus.
okay. Anyways, okay, we got to close this out.
We gotta close this out. I got stuck on Marco Polo and you kept talking and I didn't listen.
I thought we
In
went
my head, I was playing Marco Polo.
and then we went South Park.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I don't think I have a closing line.
So peace is not the oh shit. Hold on, reverse. Peace is not the absence of purpose. Peace is the space where you finally get to discover who you are when nothing needs to be fixed.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Because I don't need to fix my chaos.
No.
I embraced my chaos.
Right.
It became my purpose.
And your superpower.
This is where the ding light bulb comes.
Yeah. Anyway, I love it. Peace out, you guys. This was good. I don't know what happened today. My chaotic brain just
Did you notice that you said peace out and that's peace and chaos?
It said peace out.
So
No, sometimes.
it's kind of like that one show with all the emotions. So you're peace, I can be chaos. So peace out, chaos out.
What show is that?
Fuck off, you hosted it.
Bye.
The show about emotions that
Up, down, inside out.